happy hour. Night attacks happy hour. Night attacks happy hour. Dig.
Fastest on Twitch from 0 to content in 3 seconds flat. What is up, Justin Robert Young?
Man, I'm ready for content. That's what I'm ready for.
So, hey, could we meditate just for a real quick second? Maybe we won't like this and we'll go on to something shinier. But man, words are weird, and weirds are words. What's up is down, left is right.
These are high thoughts.
Yeah, no. Words are weird in that I don't know. Like I was thinking about like is bitch a misogynistic word?
Yes.
Okay, why? Because you're calling someone objectively, you're calling them a dog, right? That's
I mean,
the disgusting part of it.
No, I guess it really depends on what that is a definition, right? But if we are to look upon the Urban Dictionary,
Okay,
it would probably say something other than a dog, right?
I correct. I'm also gonna guess that somebody who is not very tough would be defined by the B word.
Yep.
Now, does that mean that somebody's saying, I think you're being weak and also I hate women? Or are they just saying, I think you're being weak?
No, I think that you are weak by way of the standard of a woman.
Okay.
So it's like there is a
what are the
male female dynamic that you are falling afoul of.
Great. So what other word would you derogatorily use to express that someone is weak?
Pussy.
Okay. And that is not misogynistic?
No, it's misogynistic.
Okay.
Too,
So
right?
so that is you are weak and also I hate women. What else you got?
Well, I mean, that's an interesting way to put it. Like that, I hate women. Right? It's more.
Well, that's
if we're
literally
going to
what
describe-
misogynistic means is
Well,
that you hate women.
Hate is an interesting thing, though, right?
Right.
Because do you hate or do you believe that
Women are
women
inferior.
are incapable and
Right.
inferior? There we go. Because that's not necessarily hate. You could be very compassionate, but feel that, like, well, I love my wife and my daughter. I would never allow them to vote or own property because their silly women brains wouldn't be able to handle it. Like, but that's not hate. That person would never describe these. That is hate, right?
Right. Okay. So if you want to express somebody is weak and chicken shit, I guess chicken shit works. It's probably unfair to all the chickens who shit. But coward is safe. Sissy is loaded, I think, because
Sissy's
that's
loaded.
homophobic now.
There
Or
used to
has
be
been.
another word that starts with an F that used
Right.
to get tossed around quite a bit.
And half the
that would
syllables.
describe,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or if you want 2 syllables and started it with H, you would do that. Yeah. Perfect time
So-
for a raid, by the way. Thanks to everybody showing up.
Who's rating?
I
this?
have
Is
no
that
idea, but I know they picked the right time.
Awesome time for everybody to be here. We're discussing very cool things.
We're trying to figure out how to what insults aren't inherently misogynistic or homophobic, but also have teeth. Because also chicken shit used to have teeth because chicken shit involved cursing shit. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
But now shit's not a curse word. Now the real there's a reason we refuse to say the F slur just now or the
Well, yeah. I mean, we kind of became a PG-13 culture, which now allows up to 7 shits an hour and a half,
and one F,
one F word.
right every 90
know?
minutes. Right.
Or if you say no shits, you can get away with 2 Fs.
Yeah.
But that's usually how it goes.
There was a hot second that cuck seemed to have teeth until it became politicized, and then all of a sudden, I lost all interest in for a
Cuck
second.
is
For a
something-
second, I was
yeah.
like, oh shit, is this a new curse word coming out? And it's like, nope, it's a politicized curse word, and fuck all of us.
Yeah, the funny thing is that like obviously politics and culture follow each other hand in hand, but the idea we are in a cultural moment where we want to examine weakness and strength. We want to examine what we are deficient in, and we have disagreements on that. We have disagreements on whether or not personal responsibility is deficient, and that's why kids are staying with their parents for longer, and we have more of an expectation to have somebody else solve our problems, or a nanny state thing, or whether or not compassion. We are deficient in compassion, and that's why we are not understanding or healing divisions from the past. But that is something for which is a like modern question, and so like that's why cuck is an insult, right? Because cuck is a fetishization of victimhood, and now in the sexual context, it's
powerlessness,
gratifying.
and of course,
Yeah.
for those, I guess in two contexts, cuckoldry is a negative thing when it is non-consensual and somebody finds out that his wife's been running around on him or whatever, and he's powerless. But it's also a powerful thing in that it is something that arouses somebody who is so confident
Who
in
is
his
willingly-
relationship.
yeah,
that he's like, go ahead,
willingly,
fuck my wife.
like, he is-
it takes
he is
nothing from me.
exploring that.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh, no,
stare
it
you in the
gains.
eyes.
You are
Yeah.
excited that there is somebody else that is doing this to you because you are exploring this idea of a loss in victimhood or whatever, right? Like based on our current cultural structure. But even then, the version that you said before, that's loaded because, well, what kind of man can't keep his woman by his side when some other strong virile alpha just is Mr. Steal Your Girl?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I'm thinking of how many, where we at on motherfucker? Like, nobody. Also, do you think part of the power of motherfucker was that nobody really thinks that people are out there fucking their mothers? Although technically, all of us did.
I mean, we can get into a definition of exactly what fucking is.
All of
but
us. Not only did we get up in them guts, we started off up in them guts.
Yeah, but we
Okay.
went one way.
Well, I mean, that counts. Shit. Separate. Put a pin in that. Put a pin in that.
If that's but please file that under hills I might want to die on.
No.
And look it over in the next 48 hours.
Hills I will not be dying on for 500, Alex.
Yeah, I think motherfucker is a very interesting one because it initially is kind of like this idea. I mean, maybe, wow, we're really getting into it because the idea of motherfucker violates the concept of family.
It
right
violates
now-
the sanctity of one's. So here's what's weird is I think motherfucker is the right number one. That's a great syllabic journey. Motherfucker, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
Right. I think the more powerful and horrifying word is sister fucker. Because like that's a more graphic, horrifying image.
And yet, if one is to peruse Pornhub, a never more publicly accepted concept.
Those are stepsisters, which, by the way, is totally different.
Sure.
God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there is, if we are to say that in the past, the greatest way to attack somebody is to insinuate that they are a malcontent in the familial structure and therefore culture at large, and that now that has lessened. It's less of an issue to call somebody a motherfucker, right? Although it is still, a delightful thing to say. And now what hurts is something like, a cock or bigot or something like that. And that is more of an element of your own personal decisions. You are the product of the culture as opposed to a contaminant of the culture. Then that does say something about the conversations we're having.
Yeah, and I guess like even words like bigot or ignorant, yes, I am uninformed. Please enlighten me. What are all the things I should have learned, and why are you not teaching them to me, and why are you insulting me instead?
There is this idea that like racist is the N-word for white people, right? Like that the way, if you want to really injure a white person, that you call them a racist, and that is the worst possible thing that you could say, because it puts this cultural stink on somebody, or rather in the mind of somebody who's reacting to it. That's how they feel, and so therefore they go apoplectic faster than they would if you called them a motherfucker, right?
Huh.
And Nazi would obviously be a derivative of that, because that's like the like Decepticons of racists. Like if we're gonna say that all robots are robots, but Decepticons are the worst robots of all time, then there are racists, and then there are Nazis.
Maybe we're zeroing in on sort of because there are certain insults that are so implausible that they have no effect. Like whatever, dinosaur fucker. Well, obviously none of us feel like there's even a temptation nor a situation in which we would fuck a dinosaur, unless you were a Christmas present, in which case fucking buckle up. Maybe that's the evolving pattern. Where are we at on son of a bitch? Is that misogynistic?
Whistler 034 says so many white people seem to own being racist these days. No, that's shrinking. No. Go look back in history. Many more white people being very, very, very public about racism in a way that we don't like. Let me
don't even have to go that far. Let's say our parents, unironically. And by our, I mean our society's parents. Anybody over the age of 65 has witnessed what it looks like when people own racism.
The place where I got my COVID test, 2 of my COVID tests in Oakland on the other side of the lake, is a now not in use gathering hall, like a convention center, that in like 1947, like the late 40s, had a Klan rally in Oakland.
Wow.
Like we're talking within years of the Black Panthers being formed in Oakland, there was a Klan rally. So it's like, no, we have receipts now in a way where, like, for us to know that people were publicly racist back in the day, they literally had to stand in front of like the box camera with the fucking powder and be like, say on 3, racist.
Everybody please stand for 30 whole seconds thinking about your life choices and just remain there if you're comfortable with them. Don't move.
They had to be wearing a T-shirt that said like a racist is me, or kiss the racist, with a little steak next to it.
Lips that touch another race will never touch mine.
Yeah,
that's me co-opting the teetotaler slogan.
So yeah, I would say, all right. Sorry, what did you go? What were you saying before?
I was starting to ask about where we're at on son of a bitch. Is that misogynistic?
Son of a bitch, I think.
Because you're
no
by definition. Okay, hold on. So if a bitch is a bad thing, that is misogynistic. But being the son of a bitch is a bad thing.
You want to know?
But that's not misogynistic.
That's an interesting deli slice to make, right? Because we all come from women, so there's nobody who's like, you weak women products. Like, I'm the pure man only version. Like, so
I'm 100% man meat, baby.
Yeah, I go. Yeah, I came from the product of a dick fucking balls, and then I came out the butthole. Oh man, um, I would say, uh, uh, I haven't thought of. I think of that more as motherfucker than I do bitch, and I know it's counterintuitive, and we can interrogate it, but I think of it more as your mother is deficient, i.e., you are fucking your mother, or your mother is fucking you, or you're a shitty product because your mother was a bitch.
Yeah, son of a bitch definitely evokes like your mom was a dog in a way that bitch, you skip the dog part, and it's like it's bitch is like a nasty way to say the word woman. Like what? Like if you just said the word woman, but with real hate, it would come out bitch.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's. Although I don't know, maybe I mean, we could dig back into the etymology of it, but if we're going to find the most misogynistic version or draw up the most misogynistic version, the idea would be, oh, you are a person for whom shows more of the characteristics of your mother than your father in a traditional two parent heterosexual couple, right? And that is why you are weak or bad or awful or whatever you're getting cursed out for.
What words have more power to people who are half our age than we are even able to? I mean, what, maybe like boomer seems so soft.
Yeah, I wonder. The thing that seems to be of the most ascendancy is cringe.
Yeah,
Cringe is
I think that one is going to come and go just like epic fail, but we've talked about this. If we look at it, we could check. It's been 20 minutes. We can check the Google Trends.
Sure. Cringe is more elegant than epic fail. If it is to survive, I would understand cringe surviving more than epic fail, because it is evocative on a level that I don't think epic fail is. Epic, like, so you might not ever epic fail in your life, but everybody has cringed.
Yeah. Let's see. Past 5 years. 2004 to present. I think. Yeah. There we go. So this is the chart that I always point people to. Is you could see just as epic fail is on its way out, cringe is in its ascendancy, although it does look like it's leveled out. Maybe cringe will stick around.
I mean, I think that's a fascinating one, because cringe is the act of watching, right? Watching and judgment. And in a world where we are constantly
cringe is also it's perfect, because in one syllable you assert your dominance, where it's like and the other person's incompetence. It implies that the other person has made an error, and that they're so low status they don't even recognize the error they've made, and that you pityingly are adopting sadness on their behalf for them, for their, like, you're going to be embarrassed for them. You're welcome.
And there's so much layered within it of like, everybody else is doing it, but I'm the only one who's telling you that you have toilet paper on your shoe.
Right.
Like that there is this element of mercy that is happening in a way that, you know, really cuts to the core, because what it wants to evoke, if you're injuring people in the modern age, what you're telling them is that they are an embarrassment and everybody is talking about it.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
Everybody knows it. And that's in a world where you are creating receipts for everything you do. That is a death sentence, right?
There's also sort of a, and this is a young versus the olds kind of solution, which is inform the olds that there's a whole stratification of which they are not aware. And there's a whole thing beyond what they perceive as power dynamics or money dynamics or status dynamics or whatever. There's a different type of status, and you're so dumb and ignorant you don't even know that you belong beneath me. This 16-year-old commenter who has some wicked, awesome Counter-Strike knives.
So if motherfucker is an attack on the family and cuck is an attack on the self, then cringe is an attack on status and inclusion.
Yeah.
Like that you don't even know. So it's not like that you are weak and you know you're weak and you're exhibiting weak traits. And it's not motherfucker in that you are ruining society or you're a malcontent or you are a misshapen cog in the wheel of society. It's that you're a lost lamb. You don't even know. And we're all talking about how we're laughing at you trying to find your way in the woods. That's man, I'll tell you what, we're getting somewhere on this episode.
Yeah, right? And what's I think that's part of the reason I hate the word so much is and I think I've said this before, its power is outsized to its ease. Like,
well, also there's a reason why it's born in the petri dish that you find it, because it is at its most potent when you are at the most vulnerable to it. You are reading it in these YouTube comments where quite literally you have presented art that in your case not only has artistic merit but also financial consequences and everything else that goes along with it. You are at your most vulnerable, trying to understand the will of the people and where you would either be validated or need to course correct, and they are throwing the worst possible insult at you when you are overextended the most to have it hurt.
And not only that, it's also the least helpful, because like if you shout the word boring, yes, you are elevating your status as the consumer over the producer of the content, but you're also providing valuable intel. Cringe does not give that benefit, right? Or like get to the point, or I hate your outfit. Like any of those things, there's information in there, but there's no
fat and gay.
Right. Well, and that one might be closer to. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. Yeah.
I would say more helpful, because even then you're further along the road in terms of a clue of what they're mad about than you are with cringe, because cringe by its definition is obscuring the sin.
You like, could at least credibly hide behind the facade of, hey man, I'm just speaking my mind. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just giving feedback. I'm just, look, if you're going to get better, you got to know what people are thinking, or whatever. All those things you could do, except for like cringe is totally unhelpful. Totally.
Because it is secretive, because you don't know. It could be anything from the way you said a word to your fucking like metaphysical aura. Like literally the thing, your soul, the thing you cannot change is resonating in such a awful way with this viewer that they have only one reaction, and that is their skin crawling as they write cringe.
Right. Well, and plus also, I mean, I feel that when I want to shake my fit, it also could come from a place of straight up acknowledgement of a power differential. Like when I see, I don't know, let's say that photo of Donald Trump playing tennis and you can see his tidy whities or whatever. It's like, Donald Trump will never know who I am. And motherfucker became the president of the United States. And maybe he was not a real billionaire. He certainly is one now. There is a sincere power differential. And I don't think I'm faking when I think to myself some version of that cringe barb, that bullet of like, oh, like, and I don't know how much of it is hating him for being so much more powerful than I am, or versus how much is being and looking what in my mind I want to call ridiculous, but also I don't know what a 74-year-old man playing tennis is supposed to look like. As best I could tell, that's exactly what a sitting president who values eating McDonald's more than looking like a pleasing shape to a magician podcaster's eyes. That's that is quite literally probably the definition of exactly how he's supposed to be. But this barb of just like ugh, like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is that we have so many more interactions too. Like, there's so many different ways that we know each other, both physically, business, acquaintances. There's whole classes of relationships for which our forefathers never really knew. Like, how many people, like, the idea of going to high school with somebody and then leaving, rare, right? At least as society has grown, mass transit
general.
has become, in general, it has only become more common, but used to be rare. And then going back to your high school reunion and seeing how everybody's turned out, that was a moment in time. It used to be a Halley's Comet, like a thing that happened once. And maybe you would run into an old friend at a bar and you'd get a little, a little streak, a little comet across the sky or something like that. Now it's pervasive. We never lose track
and
with
persistent
anybody.
and ongoing.
Persistent.
And if you want to indulge in Schadenfreude, you don't even have to suffer the embarrassment of potentially being judged yourself. You could put on a mask, pretend to be anonymous 27994, and then show up and gawk and hurl stones from a faceless mob. Yeah.
I mean, that's something for which our culture has never known. Like, I always get a little bristly whenever we talk about like brains and
we're not built to handle
and like,
we're not talking about any one Netflix original that drove both of us fucking bonkers with its madness hysteria. We're just saying in general.
Jimmy, you're using the algorithms too much. Fuck you, Mom.
He's all strung out. He couldn't go a whole night without breaking this fishbowl, the MacGuffin fishbowl, the one that we all agreed we wouldn't break.
Oh my God. Yeah. I don't think that it's like a human brain
Repost
pathway
madness
thing. It's good.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
I don't think it's that, but I do think that it is in part a cultural thing. We are pioneers. We are people that are learning the new rules of the road for which we will have refined for the rest of society, and they will find new frontiers for which their culture will deal with. It is fascinating that we are dealing with all this. And also, like, again, cringe is something, not to go back to that, but cringe is something that wouldn't have meant anything in a world before we were willingly posting things online. Because, like,
right, because the very act of it used to be that you lived your life, and if somebody saw you, everybody knew they weren't seeing the real you, and whatever they saw was not something you were actively trying to solicit feedback on. But all social media is art. Everybody is trying to take some aspect of their life, whether it's, for example, today I posted 3 short videos of me and my family looking at the moon through a telescope, right?
Yeah.
I can't get away with pretending that I don't care what people think, because I cared enough to upload all 3 of those, to follow up, to put a little top spin on it and say, what I like about this one is that you can hear the genuine wonder in my kid's, voice or whatever. Or when my parents show up, it's really adorable. It's I don't know. Teller has a very simple definition of art. He says, anything that is not feeding you or your family. If it's a single amount of effort, if it's a single dollar spent, if it's a single tweet, it's art. Anything that is not keeping you and your family directly, not indirectly, directly alive is art.
Yeah.
And I like that. And I think a lot of people hide behind like, well, I don't have to be good. I'm not a professional YouTuber, which gives me the freedom to shit all over other people who are doing a thing, because I am deciding that my status is as an appreciator of a thing, and your status is, well, you're actually trying, so fuck you, which again is some of the power, the unfair the unfair nuclear power of a word and a sentiment like cringe. One syllable, unhelpful, undirected, nothing but status earthquake. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, and it only works because it's the punchline for our own setup. Right?
Yeah.
Like the setup is something that we said. I love my family. Look at this telescope picture. The punchline. Cringe.
Right.
Like,
look at this guy. He loves this. Like that's really all it is. It's the equivalent
but then
of
again,
repeating.
it's for everything. It's for everything. Here's my history podcast that I worked a long time on. Cringe. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. The only thing it requires is your effort, and that it's throwing it right back in your face.
And all it is a restatement of whatever it is you just said, only in a dumb sarcastic tone. Like
it's the fucking SpongeBob chicken meme. Like it's just the like whatever you said, but in the small.
Oh
letter,
yeah. Up down,
like,
up down.
The
yeah.
SpongeBob like.
Yeah. That's also that's also an inordinately powerful and inappropriately so power dynamic flip.
I mean, because that actually to me has roots, right? The inordinate power dynamic. Like that's something that's as old as fucking like it's Shakespeare, right? I'm sure there's something somewhere that you can find in like Beowulf or some fucking dude is like circles of hell or fucking monsters, whatever. Not Dante's Inferno. Like monster in the mud, like whatever fucking like that is ancient in a way that has continued to progress in our modern society.
Yeah. Man, did we solve that one?
Man, I'm trying to think.
That got real deep real fast. I feel like we called our shot and we were there, man. We're like, we're gonna get heavy, and then all of a sudden we turned into George Carlin for 30 minutes, and now our powers are evaporating, and so it's like, ice creams. What's your favorite ice cream?
I never really was into ice cream.
Really?
Were you an ice cream guy?
Oh yeah. Frozen yogurt or soft serve ice cream?
I honestly don't care. Like I would eat all of it.
Yeah. Like, I really can't tell the difference. Can you tell the difference between margarine and butter?
I like to think that I could, but I'm sure if I got double blinded, I would probably fail more than I would succeed.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know either. Hey, how's your quest to?
Oh man, yeah, we were gonna talk about it last night, and we never did. We wound up going down memory lane.
Which, by the way, I think that's a credit to you and I and us growing into our roles, because there would be a time when either one of us would have been all like, "No, man, too easy, too obvious. Don't do it. Let's do a shitty new thing rather than possibly a thing that we're good at and would enjoy." But instead,
we've already done before.
Right. But instead, we just did the thing that we've done before and really enjoyed, and it was really good. I was proud of us.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I haven't played it as much as I wanted to, mostly because I'm leaving for Georgia, and I'm just like in a panic to get a bunch of shit done. And I also might have panicked myself into buying a new MacBook.
Well, before we unpack that, tomorrow, no happy hour. We're gonna bank an episode.
Oh yeah. We're gonna bank an episode on Tuesday, so it won't be live, but you'll be able to watch
Thursday.
new content live on Tuesday, so you will be able to enjoy that.
So is now a good time? Is it MacBook season or no?
It's MacBook season because I laid out projects that I have for myself over the next year, and it involves a lot of writing and editing. And while I can write and edit I can certainly write on my old MacBook, I cannot edit anything other than regular ass, like, just the same template files. Like I can't do the kind of like Raise the Dead editing
Got it.
and feature story editing on that, or at least it would go a lot slower and I would get frustrated and probably not do it. And I would therefore fall behind. So now, considering I'm looking at uh 5 days, no, 4 days in Georgia, likely 5 days in a hotel back here. Um, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna need a fucking production machine. I'm gonna need to be able to edit if I'm gonna make this productive, and I'm not gonna fall behind on everything. Like, I'm gonna need to do it. And it's like I haven't bought one. I'm not like, I mean, aside from the phones, like I haven't bought myself a new MacBook since I left the Go game, and that was, you know, a long time ago.
Hot minute, yeah. The I'll tell you what, man, when you reduce that investment down to a per episode cost and you think like, okay, definitely these 5 episodes, uninterrupted schedule, call it $100 premium per episode, boo, boo, boo,
Yeah.
boo, boo. And then beyond that, now all of a sudden the what a math is getting easier and easier to swallow. And then it's just like, oh, screw it, let's do this.
Yeah, no, the way I looked at it is I'm like looking at the price I'm going to pay for this, and I'm like, oh, that's a Patreon episode.
Yeah.
I'm substituting a game check for a machine that's going to allow me to produce stuff faster. Like,
Yeah.
and that's really what I'm paying for, is a faster processor and more RAM, and operating on a platform for which there is cloud saving of stuff. So it's like,
What are some of the things that you want most to get out of physically being in Georgia?
sound. Just
Just boots on the ground.
boots on the ground. It just, nothing is the substitute for it. Like, and ultimately I can do interviews. I can be there. People like, the thing that I got the most feedback on, without a doubt, is when I go cover stuff live. Like when I went to Tulsa and interviewed people in line for the Trump rally, when I got caught in the pepper spray and didn't realize it was pepper spray until I started choking, and I got it all, in the sound of it all. Like that's the kind of shit that people love. They love the most, and it differentiates me from just a jack off talking about politics and behind a microphone. Like, other people don't want to do it. It is frustrating now, because it's not just me popping there and back, and without betraying any confidences, there are some people in my household for whom are not a fucking fan of me leaving at all.
I would imagine, yeah.
And that's, there's a cost, but at the same time, it's like, hey, look, this is what we got to do. This is how we got to roll.
I would imagine there's the same song and dance you have to do. Every time setting foot out the door is one experience. Then whether or not what it takes to be let back into the house is a different thing.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna get a rapid COVID test on Monday, after I come back on Wednesday, and we'll see. And it's gonna be frustrating because either I'll know I'll have COVID or I won't, by all accounts, right? Like, I'm either gonna have I'm gonna have symptoms or I won't. At which point, if I don't have symptoms, then it's the best, because I'll have a likely asymptomatic case if I test positive.
All right, so hypothetical here, and I'm not really rooting one way or another, but
Yeah.
what likely will happen is that you won't test until you make it back to Oakland. But let's say hypothetically, there was some opportunity before you get on a plane to go back to Oakland, and you test positive, and then you real quick, while you're still in Georgia, you test again, and it's also positive. So you have 2 positives, and you have it. Do you get on a plane back to Oakland, or
No.
do you stay in Atlanta or Georgia, or do you go some other place?
No, I would just extend my stay in Georgia and change, especially now that you can change your flights for free.
Yeah.
Like, there would be little cost in me taking it back anywhere near Oakland or the Bay Area in general.
You
like,
wouldn't-
or
you
getting on a
wouldn't-
plane.
You wouldn't just drive, grab a rental car, drive down, be closer to family or something to ride that out. You'd rather do it alone?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get. I mean, you know, my mom's old. Like
Yeah.
you know, like if I go down there, the question is where, right? So it's like, okay, do I go near my mom, who's fucking old, my mom's boyfriend, who's dealing with some like serious health complication stuff right now, my brother and sister-in-law and their two kids, which if God forbid one of them got it, now a single person has to deal with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. Like, no, I'd rather just sit there, and then if it really gets bad, I'll just fucking dial 0 on the operator and say, "Call me an ambulance. I'm dying."
Sure, but I guess I'm more dialed in on, however long it is to have symptoms plus 2 weeks, and that adds up. It seems like if I was going to spend 3 weeks somewhere, it might be worth a day's drive in any direction to have it be. Yeah, I don't know. Like
Well,
for
what? No,
example,
no.
for comparison,
It's no.
if you got a positive thing within 18 hours, or sorry, within 14 hours, you could physically be cozied up here at HQ, surrounded by people, like in a safe place for you to convalesce for the 2.5 weeks that it's going to take, because there's going through the shit, and then there's the 2 weeks before you're allowed to go back in the world. I guess 10 days after symptoms end.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I'm like, a friend of mine once described me as somebody that I'm like a dog who will go into the forest to die. Like I would.
What's funny is I had to run that through the Brian filter of like, is that friend me? Did I ever say that?
No. Like I'm somebody that does not want to be a bot. I would rather put all that on my credit card or find some shithole Motel 6 for which it wouldn't be the biggest problem in the world. Then try to bother anybody.
Then let's have a bro bring it in real friend moment here. Like,
Yeah.
I can't catch it, and if you are handed a golden coupon of 2 weeks of excuses to not do shit, and you can't be bothered, 14 measly hours you can't drive over here, we can watch all of Ted Lasso again. And I can bring you all the pious and the torchies. I can set up a tiki bar in here. Fucking, I can't get this shit. And
I'm
like fucking. You'd rather be alone in the fucking. It's fine.
I mean, never one. Only you would take this as a personal insult.
It is. It is a personal insult, and I'm glad you finally understand this.
It's like, Justin, can we please get to the true victim of you getting COVID?
Me. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's a part of me, like, Grant, I'm very, very sad that Bonnie also had COVID.
Yes.
Only mildly happy that it proved that I didn't go get it at Chick-fil-A, and it proved that we got it together picking up a puppy.
Yes.
TBD whether or not them dirty ass breeders.
I'm just saying. I'm like Alex Jones on this one. I don't believe the government's official story, and I think that there's circumstantial evidence to point.
That's fine. But I do know that
Do me a favor. Take a look. Take a look at this picture of this puppy. Look at this puppy. This puppy knows. This puppy knows there's some dirty Waco children with COVID, handling them, spitting on them. And look at poor Brian. This typhoid puppy.
Yeah. I do know that first there was the satisfaction that it's not my fault. Second of all, second favorite moment, having my first human contact hug. And then 10 whole days where it's like the law of the land was, kids, y'all have to fuck off. Mom and dad, by law, have to hang out and watch TV. I'm sorry. If we could, we'd change the rules, but we can't. We're doing the right thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess it would depend on how I felt. Like if I knew for sure that I definitely had it, there would definitely be there would be a lot of questions that would have to be
There would
answered.
be like I'd imagine like you feel fine and you decide, what can happen in 14 hours? You get on the road, turns into the opening scene of The Stand. You show up, with fucking pustules out your eyes,
mean,
like
honestly,
driving off the road.
I would, if for me to be in that situation, right? I would have to be fall down incapacitated. So that would be the flaw in that plan, is me feeling good enough to drive for 14 hours while also having tested positive for the vid, unless it was like totally asymptomatic. It would have to be totally asymptomatic for me to be like, all right, well, I got 10 days. I'll just move it to Austin and I'll push this to a one-way drop off.
That's the tricky part, is you don't know if the hurricane is about to hit landfall or if there's just not going to be any rain for you. I mean, it's like all you get is a diagnosis that there's definitely a hurricane, may or may not strike anytime between
I would have
right
to have
now
symptoms.
and 5 days from now.
I would have to have symptoms. Like to even go get a test.
I don't know. But we're doing the hypothetical where it's like, the genie shows up and it says a test, another test confirmed.
Yes. Okay. Yes. In the situation, in the hypothetical situation you just set up, Brian, I would drive to Austin.
No, hold on. IT Mike 88 nailed it. That's what you do, is you call me. I fly out there. I drive you back.
You drive me.
Yeah. We stop at every Torchy's between Atlanta and here, which are all in Austin. So we make it 13 hours, and then it takes us a day to get the rest of the way to HQ.
That would be great. It's like, and along the way, we hit every Torchy's from Atlanta to Austin. Shot of the map, eastbound and down, going on and trucking. The line gets all the way to Austin, and it stops.
And it goes an inch and stops, an inch and stops, an inch and stops. And you're like, really, that's a lot of fajita. Eastbound and down,
loaded up and trucking.
Oh man, yeah, I'd be down for that. People in the chat are asking,
maybe what's it called? If I could get a Heaton to drive out, you just toss me in the Scamp, and he'll just drive.
Treat you like a plutonium cargo.
Fucking leper.
He can only take roads that allow hazmat or hazardous materials around. Yeah, I guess the entire show long chat's been broken.
I think Twitch chat is having a real time.
I thought everybody was just really, really stunned by our insights.
I mean, look, it was a pretty heady show.
It was a good one. It was a really good one. Okay, we got 10 minutes. Things to be happy about. So not using the Quest as much as you thought.
Not because I don't love it. Every time I put it on, I've been fucking blown away. It's really the paralysis that I have for all games except for Hearthstone, because they fit perfectly in when I'm making food and eating food. Every time I enjoy myself, my natural antibodies begin to build and say, like, get out of here. You're not supposed to be enjoying things. You got a lot of shit to do, and you just fucking laid out how you need to have X amount done week by week if you're going to hit this fucking target and blah, blah, blah.
At least when you're procrastinating, you're miserable. What are you, happy and not getting more done? Fuck you.
Basically. Yeah. I mean, if I ever went to therapy, that would be something that I would want to interrogate. Like the whatever underpinnings are there, between the things that I'm able to justify as work ethic. Like, because I know it's not healthy. I know that I should be able to enjoy this delightful thing that I enjoy. But at the same time, it pales in comparison into me enjoying when people see work that I've put a lot of work into, or like a finished product that I put a lot of work into. Like, that joy is fucking ecstasy, right?
Yeah.
Which of course immediately turns into me being pissed off that I didn't get more recognition or it's not more popular or doing better. But for that one
I'll tell you
brief
what, man.
fleeting moment, boy, does it feel fucking good.
There's something great about a launch because you've done all the work and there's nothing to do but launch and be there to manage expectations and have conversations and answer questions and all that stuff. Yeah, man, it felt good. We did a premiere today. It looks like YouTube is rolling out some like new tools, including live streaming leading up to new episode premieres. So maybe kind of a Twitch-like ephemera that will not be persistent, but will show up for anybody there. Which, man, if that's for reals, then get ready for a half-hour pre-show for even a 6-minute new Modern Rogue episode or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like every Scam Nation episode. Like, what up, my peeps? Let's go.
Yeah, I think that's a smart way to do it because YouTube has really had a hard time
With the
trying to
community side of
directly
things.
compete with Twitch. Yeah, because I mean, aside from today where Twitch chat is falling apart, it is moderation and chat that makes Twitch sticky and special. You know,
Yeah.
YouTube will forever be a great dumb pipe, but it won't be home, right? It'll be a place you go visit and see a thing,
It might,
and that's that.
it might be it doesn't have to be the nucleus, but I would like it to be just a little bit stickier.
Yeah.
I would like a reason for people to bump into each other and create those communal bonds that you know, again, in a pre-Twitch world, you know, that was such the value of us being on Twitch was, you know, like that was a nucleus. That was a gravity well that to even see this stuff, you had to swoop all the way in, you had to land on the planet. You had every opportunity to befriend the natives and enjoy the same stuff. Twitch is that a little bit more spread out, you know, a lot of little villages all over the place. And YouTube doesn't have to get as good as Twitch does, but man, if it could be anything other than, hello, welcome to YouTube. Here's your mask. Here are 5 rocks. Feel free to throw them at anything. May I suggest the word cringe? Here's content. People trying really hard. Have a good time. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like a paintball place. Like it's like, here are randomly assigned things. We think you'd like these maps.
Right.
Go.
Your team Dragon, your team Russia, your team the Middle East, whatever. You know, go fight everyone.
Yeah, I think part of it is also like, if we're gonna break it down, when you go to a Twitch chat, you often see the same names,
Right?
And you build rapport. If you know, the problem with YouTube Live is that the people that they rolled it out to were gigantic, and so you just had the hardest challenge for Twitch or for any kind of chat, which is moderation on a massive scale, and that's why you just get the brrr, the random like who gives a rat's ass. It's totally unusable chat.
Well, and Twitch allows you to designate or deputize cops basically, and very quickly and easily. Like, hey man, this appears to be a riot. You seem civil. Here's a badge. Please help me contain this riot. And off we go.
You know, and that's you know, when we were in our like election night streams or anything like that, where we were getting like into the hundreds and sometimes breaking like 1,000, you know, viewers, it was so helpful to have just even tools like emote only mode, where a mod would just hit emote only mode. And now it's like, if you want to cool everybody out real fucking quick, turn them all into pumpkins and let them all spit pumpkin seeds at each other, as opposed to being real boys and girls. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. Dude. All right. Well, then I say we wrap this one up tomorrow. Banked episode. It'll be good times. Deeply offended that you wouldn't want to convalesce here at our mobile hospital.
I said I would. In your situation, No, you're gonna fly into Hartsfield. You're gonna toss me in whatever in a 1996 Chrysler Pacifica, and and you're gonna it's gonna be eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking.
Yeah, we're gonna eat more torches than can be done. All right, well, we love you guys. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Happy hour. Night Attacks Happy Hour. Night Attacks Happy Hour.